brace yourselves. What you're going to hear here is pretty dire. You hear the sirens? You hear the sirens? That's the police, man. They're coming. They're coming for Ben. I'm Mr. Snake Man, Mr. Rat Man might have tipped him off about Ben's doing. Okay? I might have showed him this video. Jokes aside, it is pretty sick.
Hey guys, hit like, and if you want to support, you can do so at patreon.com/Shamu411 or Cash App $Shamu411. Thanks. Lolcow Live, a show created by Keemstar, where Boogie 2988 and Wings of Redemption dress up as women for the satisfaction of who? I'm not totally sure.
Daddy Keem.
I got the accessories, Daddy.
It looks like it's for the satisfaction of Keemstar. That's exactly who. Look, if you're going to dress up as a woman or as a big baby, do it for yourself, for your own thing. Hey, there's a long game with the big baby thing. Trust me on it. It's going to make sense in the end. Anyway.
I can twerk for you, Daddy.
It's like a Hollywood humiliation ritual, except instead of getting new movie deals, nothing changes and you still give Keemstar 60 to 70% of the earnings that are made, with fake firings every other week.
What are we doing?
Anyways, they created a spin-off series by the name of Lolcow Queens. Grace Thorp was picked to be a host on the show, and I've covered Grace and her family since they started on this platform. I was asked by Lolcow Queens links and
Yeah, Shamu's like one of the original guys on the whole Grace Thorp issue. I mean, it's crazy. The level of detail he'll go into. I mean, his documentaries are pretty good.
Becky to air out Grace's dirty laundry. We all had an agreement for me to create a video showcasing receipts of a variety of heinous things Grace has done in the past. Just an hour prior to the show going live, Becky seemingly out of nowhere angrily ordered links to let me know I wouldn't be allowed on the show. I wasn't given a reason why whatsoever, and Becky told links.
So it came from it came from someone above her. It came from Keem.
Because I said so. I am the producer of the show and I make the decision, not you. So please do your job and don't make me ask you a third time.
I let Lynx know, who was very nice by the way, that I would have to talk about this publicly, because I had a feeling the order was probably coming from Keemstar. After creating a thread detailing what had happened, Xylia's Real got on panel to figure out why they weren't allowing me on the stream.
I'm talking about Shamu.
Okay, so why couldn't Shamu come up here?
There's a reason that I cannot discuss, but
There's a reason that I cannot discuss. That means someone above me said no. Okay.
is a reason, and the people above me know it. So I don't need to explain it to you. Next.
It is rich that on a stream titled Becky Reveals Grace's Dark Past, that Becky has to say that they are protecting Grace and actively...
Right, yeah. That's the title. Thank you for reminding me. That was the title of it. Grace's Dark Past Exposed. And was Grace's Dark Past exposed? No, not at all. Not even a shred of it.
stopping someone from talking about her past.
On a live stream with him.
That doesn't matter. You don't know what he was going to say on the show. You don't know what he was going to say on the show. I do.
How do you
There's a
know?
reason.
How do you
because
know
he
what
told me. Because he told me, and I read the text, and I was
and
like,
Becky's so insufferable, man. It is hard to go through her voice, hear her voice. Ah, man. And hear her say this stuff about Shamu. Shamu knows how to handle himself. He has a channel that is monetized and all that. He's a businessman. He's not going to go in there and just start saying words are going to get you, I guess, deplatformed, or that's not even really demonetized, okay? But you do need to talk about this topic if you're going to talk about dark secrets of Grace, okay? You got to talk about it.
like, oh, fuck, I can't let this guy go live because this is going to get our channel struck down.
So this is just bullshit. I censored any words that needed to be, and none of my videos ever get struck. They didn't even watch or try to watch the video prior. If they would have told me that they were worried about a strike.
Yeah, they weren't even interested. Keem definitely was not interested. Keem wanted to protect Grace from this. And which is odd because Boogie and Wings have like weird stuff that they do, right? Then the Wings say something about age of consent and all that weird stuff, man.
Would have gladly let them watch and edit whatever needed to be, but they didn't do that.
Stuff was it
It
criminal?
doesn't matter, Grace.
What was it?
The reason I'm not going into it is I'm actually protecting you right now. So please don't push me. Yes, Keem.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm here to solve this one little argument and debate of what's going on. All right. So I was told from Becky that someone's coming in to reveal that you think the age of consent is 14. And I told Becky, keep all that shit away from the fucking show.
Keep all that away from the show. You talk about it before. Keem is such a... It's like it's blah, blah, blah. There's no consistency with it. It's all like... Is it like constantly drunk? Is it like drunk decision making?
Wow, I had no idea that these topics were off limits.
I'm not seeing a predator, right? I'm seeing a creep.
If I was this super predator that deserves to be in prison, why in 17 years has no text messages ever came out about me being with a minor?
Wings, you admitted to watching child.
I'm doing.
I'll wait for the.
Whoa. Pretty dark. But Keem doesn't have a problem with that. Keem is cool with Wings. Haven't watched that stuff, yeah.
Show, but then when I reached out to Gray, she said, I didn't say that. That's not true.
I have no idea if that's the truth. I would be shocked if Grace said that. Ben Thorp has debated this topic at length with Speakeasy and Hunter Avalone. But also, Grace and her father have openly talked about this on stream many times.
I like the music
choice. After this runaround nonsense and making this public, I was told they would have me on now. Only I wouldn't be able to provide any receipts or mention anything that was in the video I made specifically for it. And just to be honest, I was pretty fed up with the whole thing. They literally titled their first Thorp stream, "This Girl Fucks Her Dad?" And regularly make comments.
Yeah. They're allowed to talk about it, but they're not going to talk about it when she's on the show. Which is something that even Grace brought up. So, I think Grace was willing to have this, maybe. Doesn't really matter, really, at this point. Because Keemstar was preventing it from happening. We're not going to talk about her past. We're not going to talk about that stuff. We don't talk about that stuff here, okay? But yet they do, all the time.
Comments about the abuse with Grace, but not in some informative warning or explanation, but to literally mock her like a circus animal.
Dude, have you seen your feet?
Look, when I jerked my dad off, I didn't want to do it. When I jerked my dad off, I didn't want to do it. When I jerked my dad off, I didn't want to do it.
So, I got on the air eventually and told him what I thought.
Well, then get on the floor and suck cock, bitch.
It was total bullshit. I laid out everything that was going to be in the video. Nobody said anything about it. None of my videos get struck down. And the fact that you guys aren't even willing to put anything on screen, or I can't even talk about it without getting kicked, about her comments about 14-year-olds.
No, we're not going to talk about pedo shit.
Yeah, you can't.
I never. Every time I hear Becky talk, I'm like, please, someone gag her.
Talk about it. You guys are just covering, and it's total bullshit. I don't know.
It ain't covering. I just don't discuss it. I've been
I don't know who you guys.
I never asked you. You were going to talk about Shamu. You were going to talk about stuff like age of consent and stuff that cannot be discussed.
Stream.
That stuff has been discussed before on that show, you moron. Stuff that cannot be discussed. Please, someone just gag her, dude. Just gag her. That's a call of action. That's not even bad. She likes it. She likes gagging on 12 inches of meat. All right?
It's a bullshit, light-hearted thing because you guys want to be able to keep your show. So you can try to hide it or whatever, but it's on my Twitter. People can go watch it and look at it, and you guys can keep tweeting.
I know you're not talking about me, bitch, because
It truly is one of the most bizarre dynamics that everyone has a pass to mock Grace for being in this insane, abusive relationship with her father on the show constantly, but at the same time not allow anyone to bring up anything in regards to her behavior or the reality of the situation. And if you ask me to come on to expose Grace Thorp, I'm not going to just sweep for you or her by admitting or pretending like some things don't exist. I'm going to be honest in my opinion on stuff that I cover.
Yeah,
don't
and that's how you
expect me
should
to do
be.
otherwise.
Right.
I want to play what was prepared and agreed upon for Lolcow Queens, but we'll have more to say thereafter. Hey, this is Shamu. I was asked by Lolcow Queens to come on the show and elaborate on Grace Thorp's dirty laundry. I wanted to provide receipts and proof in an easily understood way, and made a quick video to do so. While people regularly attribute many heinous things that they do to her father, people forget or don't know that Grace has been a like-minded participant for the vast majority of their actions. So,
She's dancing like that while her dad's in the background, dude. She's dancing like that while her dad's in the background, probably getting off to it. And that's just like the surface of the darkness that we're about to hear, or about to be exposed to. Some of it is a refresher. This is where the video starts getting real dark. Brace yourself.
Get into it. In her father's Discord, Grace was asked, quote, "So having sex with a consenting child has good elements?" To which Grace responded with, quote, "Yes, it does. You want to connect with someone," end quote. In another message.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I swear, man. How do you walk that back? Huh? How do you explain that? Other than someone who was abused.
Grace is asked, "If sex is inherently good, that means a man having sex with a child is good, right?" Her response was, quote, "It has some good elements, yes, but it's not, quote unquote, good." Yet again, when responding to a question over the age of consent in Discord, Grace responded with, "I agree with 14 as a minimum age for girls. I could see myself potentially being ready for marriage at 14. My sister Maggie is 13, and I could see her being potentially ready for marriage in a year. Do I think I'm currently mature enough for marriage? No." This statement and her inclusion of her minor sister within it is important for what is to.
If you follow Grace and you actively like you willingly support her because you think she's a good person and Ben's a good person, you're like the worst. Like, I don't know if you realize what's happening, but they're not the sort of people you want to support. If you do it out of irony, because it's a crap show and it's like tabloid stuff, whatever, I understand. That's the reason why I do it. What I'm saying is, if you're like an unironic Grace and Ben supporter, I want to reevaluate what you do there.
To follow. At this time, Grace's mother, Courtney, had custody of Grace's 4 minor siblings. Ben Thorp, at the time of Grace's comments about marriage, began expressing renewed interest in Grace's minor sister and began making disturbing and uncomfortable comments.
Okay.
I've really kind of discovered Grace's younger sister, just wonderful young woman. She's just so funny. And finally, one of my kids has my same spirit of like thinking things are funny and doesn't freak out about everything. I was yelling at her and she was just like,
but
so
Ben,
she's terrific.
So now you're
She's
saying
like, it's like daddy's girl. This one over here is just this mirror of her mother. This just never stops.
Okay.
Oh, Grace is going to be replaced by Maggie.
So Ben, okay?
I'm ready to dump her. She's hit the wall. I'm ready for
Ben,
something new.
Ben,
sucks. 6
I got
years.
a new daddy anyway.
Some people were going to say that's jokes. Some people were going to say that's like a bit. It's not a bit. Ben is a very sick person. He just said he looks at Maggie, the younger sibling of Grace, the way he looked at Grace. And we know how he looks at Grace. We know what they do. Ben is a horrible person. Ben should not be anywhere near a school or a Chuck E. Cheese. Ben should not even be anywhere near a McDonald's or a Burger King. Kids go there, right? And there's still the kid place. I don't think they have that anymore, huh?
He lives in Mexico, so
Ben's being.
I think teenage girls would really like me.
Statements like this terrified Grace's family, as they had already been through what Ben did to Grace. Ben would continue these comments, and Grace's eldest brother began responding with, quote, "You want to touch her, you creep. Stay away from my sister," and, quote, "I won't let you groom Maggie." Grace around this time would begin kidnapping her younger sister without her mother's consent and sometimes knowledge for days at a time to be with her and her father, and refuse to return her minor sister. This would further terrify Grace's family, and in one instance of her taking her sister without her mother's consent, Ben Thorp would post this. According to Grace's brother, what Ben had posted was a picture of the minor child's breast, and Ben wrote, "I find this image attractive. Does that make me a pervert?"
Wait, you mean like bare, like it wasn't she, at this time she would have been what, 14? Is that not like? Am I hearing that right? An image of her breasts, and she's 14. Ben just posted CP. His Discord should be shut down for CP stuff. Oh my God. Ah. This is still only the beginning. It's going to get a lot worse. It gets real dark.
Perverted cunt. Both my daughters have these. I think I'm normal. Ben's eldest son would question if it was his 14-year-old sister, to which Ben would reply, keeping the world safe by accusing fathers everywhere of taking pictures which show that their daughters have breasts. It's about time we had somebody stamp out this moral offense. His son would then reply with,
man, when Ben gets so high and mighty on that righteousness, be like, he gets that like victimhood complex as if he's right or whatever. And he frames it in a way whenever he streams, he tries to get other people roped into that to support him. You know what though? A lot of the people who do support Ben and Grace, they're kind of sick too. Like the ones that get on the stream with them and actively participate and actively like support them, like they're kind of weirdos in their own right. Weirdos to the point to where they would probably support something like that. They would probably be okay. I mean, they are okay with it. I mean, they don't seem to care. They don't seem to care at all.
That's definitely Maggie then, which apparently Grace thought was hilarious. Things would escalate further as Ben began to encourage his 14-year-old daughter to do sexual things to torment her mother, suggesting one of the exact ways in which Grace would torment her mother when Ben's grooming began with her.
I told Maggie that she should troll her mother the same way Grace trolled her mother. This blowjob stuff, that they're free to do this thing. Not with me, but like, she's got this real problem. And I think they're welcome to send her pictures that she's going to freak out about. Maggie can take something and do that. Just to troll her, to go, Jesus, because
what Ben is referring to is encouraging his 14-year-old daughter to do this.
But at one point, years back, I was like, okay, let's just deal with this obsession. And I put a beer bottle in front of my crotch, and I had Grace perform fellatio on the beer bottle, which she did enthusiastically. And her mother flipped out.
In fear of being...
Because why would anyone do that? Why would anyone in their right mind do that? And of course your mom flipped out. And at that moment, that was the moment she probably should have made the right choice. But in that moment, oh, man. Oh, God. You see something like that happen, right? Imagine this. You're in this marriage for a number of years. You got kids together, right? And you find your daughter performing that on a beer bottle that's in the lap of your husband. You would think instant divorce right away and take the kids. But what if you're scared to do that? What if you're too afraid to do that? And you're not sure, and you let it go. And it continues. It continues. And then if you do something then, but you had let it continue, right? Couldn't the husband kind of frame it to the court, be like, oh, she's bad, but she let it happen. So she feels trapped. Not sure what to do. This is some real sick stuff, man. I know I often describe it as some like Jerry Springer-esque, like reality show stuff. It is so greasy and dirty. It is the sort of show that would be on TLC. Don't get it twisted, man. This sort of stuff, there was a day and time where it would be on mainstream TV. It would be on cable for to be exploited and all that, right? You exploit these sickos, these weird families and all that stuff. This is something that would definitely get a Netflix special. The right people get a hold of it. Yeah. Nasty. Anyway.
Being unable to stop Ben and Grace from further abusing her children, Courtney Thorp would get a restraining order on Ben Thorp, which states that he was physically and sexually abusive. Quote, "This follows a sustained campaign of emotional and sexual abuse, which he has forced on my children to witness, play part in, and be subject to. He has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but refuses medical intervention, leading to episodes of violence, threats, and emotional abuse." Ben Thorp would be served with a restraining order for his wife and children, which you think would stop him. But he once again would use Grace to again kidnap her 14-year-old sister without her mother's knowledge to be held up with Ben and Grace despite an active restraining order for days, refusing to give her back to her mother who had custody. Police got involved, to which Grace would lie to the police by saying her father was never near her little sister, even though they were in the same apartment, further enabling Ben. Eventually, the police and Courtney would end up at Ben and Grace's apartment.
They're right there on the bench, right outside the door.
Yeah, Grace is a dirty, dirty liar.
It's my mom, and so we are just inside, waiting for the police to arrive.
Grace is the dirty sort of liar that will lie to protect abuse. Very disgusting.
She's so fucking crazy.
Have you ever thought that your mom is crazy because of what you and your dad have put her through? Have you ever thought that maybe you're the crazy one, Grace? It's not normal to give your dad fellatio.
Waiting for the police.
It was decided for Grace and Courtney to meet at a mutual location in a park to get Grace's sister back to her mother. What you're about to hear is an off-stream call in which Grace's mother would plead with Grace to protect her 14-year-old sister and tell her the truth.
You did this inappropriate thing with Maggie where you totally broke her trust with you because you said that you're going to prevent the same thing happening to
Tropical
her
heat?
that happened to me. And she understands that to mean
That's the guy, right?
grooming and by her own father. Okay, you could say whatever, you didn't say that, but that's what she understands that to be. She was so freaked out by that. She turned to both of us in the park and she said to me, "What am I supposed to go home with mom now?" Right? I just walked away. I was walking to my car. She gets in the car with me and then I'm parentified again. And she can't talk to her own dad because you have a restraining order against him. Don't you understand how you're putting me in the middle of things by doing
No, that's not being parentified. Telling her as an older
Good job
sister
on
your
Courtney's part there.
experience and being honest about it is not being parentified. That's just being a good older sister.
You're creating this situation. You
I
said
did not create it. I'm
She
being
doesn't
honest
trust
about
you.
it, and you're lying about it.
You told her, she called you and she said, "Can you please explain why there's a restraining order against dad?"
And keep in mind, everything that Grace is saying has been programmed into her by her dad. Okay, just a reminder, everything Grace says, everything, even on live stream stuff, her dad pretty much told her to say that. Like, she is speaking for her dad, using her dad's language and all that. And using the tactic, in this case, of trying to pin it all on Courtney, trying to make it seem like it's her fault, make her seem like she's the one responsible when it's not, when she's not. Okay?
You said, "I'm not talking about this with you.
Yeah.
And if you want to know the truth, ask your sister to tell you the truth."
Yeah, you should tell her the truth, and I'm not going to have her be told by you guys, or maybe just come up with it in her own
So
mind.
you won't tell her the truth. I have to tell her the truth. That's doubly
I
parentifying.
have told her the truth.
You
I did.
refuse to tell her you refuse to tell her
I
the
told
truth,
her
and
the
she can't
truth.
talk to her dad.
I told her the truth in the park, and she asked you to confirm it, and you lied. I am telling her the truth.
For the
Grace, you know that I told Maggie the truth in that park, and you lied to her.
That's what
all
you
there
said.
is
You
to it.
said that. It's not a
That's
legal
all there
matter.
is to it.
There's no charge
I don't know
against
what
him.
you want to. I don't know what you want to get me on, Grace. You shouldn't have lied to her. It was really important that you didn't. You should tell her the truth. You should protect her. I didn't protect you. I should have. But you should protect Maggie. And now I am protecting Maggie, but you should get on board. And I'm sorry. Obviously, just saying sorry like this is like nothing. But I'm really sorry for not protecting you.
Unlike other online.
There you had Courtney pleading with Grace to please protect Maggie from Ben. Please, Grace, do not get Maggie in the same situation you were in. All right? Don't let Maggie become a victim of Grace. But Grace will defend her dad. Grace will make excuses. Grace will, if she can, take Maggie and bring her over to them, closer to her dad, to have time with her dad, which is insane, right? But that's because Grace doesn't see a problem with it. Notice like the language Grace uses on the regular when she's comfortable in streaming, she'll say stuff like daddy peel. She'll say like what a woman needs to do is find her dad and suck his. She's comfortable with that. To her, that's right. To her, that's normal because she is abused. She was abused. She's still abused, but she's not a kid anymore. And that's what I think. I mean, they can't sue. They don't have any money for suits or anything like that. That's my opinion there. And but because she perceives that as normal now, because that's how she was grown up. That's her world. Okay? So she has no problem with taking Maggie in and letting Maggie do the same thing. She's sick. She's really sick. You know, the people who were abused will in turn abuse others. That's true. And here you're seeing it.
Online scandals where a wrong take or association becomes some hot drama, but largely doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, Grace and Ben pose an actual danger to their family and others. Even as recently as a few days ago, Ben and Grace announced this.
No, but aren't you going to announce that you've got a new media manager? Your sister, my daughter.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm in the works of hiring my sister Margaret as my PR manager.
She'll be great.
Posting on my Twitter for me.
And that'll be another
Instagram.
scandal because she's 15 years old, which is too young to.
Ben is just plotting and waiting to strike on Maggie. Wow.
Blank, whatever it is, they'll say she's underage.
He just wants to pounce on Maggie.
Lastly, and this is just to warn people who may be around her, Grace has falsely accused her father's past coworkers and associates of sexual assault on live stream with the intent of trying to hurt their IRL life. She claimed Ben's ex-coworker groped her with her father just sitting across from them in the RV. In no way do I believe this happened, as quite regularly Ben would encourage his trolls to contact his ex-coworkers' employment and wives. He wanted them to be ruined. And if he decides to do that with you, he will be using Grace to do so. There really isn't anything Grace will
He'll use Grace to do it, and he'll act like he didn't do anything or didn't even tell her. It could be something small, like call the police on you for making a joke or a death threat, okay? It could be something small like that. And keep in mind, what is Rhode Island police going to do to someone in Texas? I have no idea. Nothing at all. And but it could be so other things too. He does mess with people in real life. Let Grace do it all. Like he tried to go to the FBI, right? Grace went in and talked. Like he'll get like these. He'll get this idea in his head that he has to go after you, and he'll use Grace to do it for sure.
Not do to meet whatever end her father has laid out.
Do you guys care that Grace said she's getting space from Ben just for the show?
Well, I care. No, I don't care. I don't care. And here's why. Here's why I don't care. In order to do the show and do the show correctly, she needs space from Ben. I don't care. I don't care if it's just for the show. I don't care because my motives
are just for the show. So it's like it lines up perfectly. I'm not trying to save Grace.
If that's the case, why the whole like crazy story and lie about where she's at, where she's going, and all this stuff?
I'm trying to save the show.
Like Keem said, it wasn't because he cared about their relationship or how abusive it was, but because he just wants to save the show. So he just wanted the illusion of Grace not being with her father for the optics
He
of
wants
it.
to show she's the best pick. She was the best pick for Lolcow Queens, and he wanted to make a lot of money off her.
So Ben was quite literally a part of the financial arrangement that he made. You are paying him and Grace to keep Ben off the streams to further drive the amount of money coming in. Because of course, nobody wants to support a horrendously abusive relationship. Well, the only issue is, if this is the case, you literally would be financially supporting them, as would your fans. And I'm sure Ben Thorp really appreciates it. Even though I have shown you the restraining order affidavit.
They're really, man, watch Lolcow Queens kind of implode without Grace. That'd be kind of funny. A big Keemstar L. It's like you thought you could tame her. You thought you could do it. You got bamboozled. You got played by Grace and Ben.
David, and much more if you consider all the court documents, family, friend, and neighbor testimony. Keemstar would regularly try to attribute their actions to trolling.
Maybe this was out of context. Maybe, all this is bullshit. The issue is you guys have trolled way too much with this shit. You guys have fucking used this little shit and to get clout, the shock jock shit, the shit your dad has said is
That's not shock jock stuff, man. Shock jock stuff is just like just talking out of your butt, talking out of your ass for like the show of it, you know? Shock jock stuff is like doing a stream where you stab yourself or back there, or you do a stream where you're like, you use it F slurs and N-bombs, or you bring, or you do the stuff that Stern did back in the day. You bring in ladies of the night and you shave them, or you see how many hot dogs they can put in their mouth. Okay, shock jock stuff is just like messing around and doing that sort of stuff, but it's for entertainment. You don't really co-sign it. It's just whatever. It's just like, okay. But it's greasy, it's like whatever. But it's at the end of the day, though, it's like there's no like actual damage. No one's actually getting hurt or anything. There's not actual abuse. That's what I'm saying. With Ben and Grace, that's not shock jock, dude. They're talking about some crazy stuff.
to the point where it's way too toxic for any entity to grow online.
So he officially doesn't exist. From here, this whole venture becomes really a clusterfuck of a lot of things that I'm not totally sure are true in regards to Keemstar's actions as Lolcow Live. People get fired and constantly brought back in a way that feels planned and staged, but I will try to give everything a fair hearing, while you guys should have a healthy dose of skepticism.
There's a wall, right?
You can have whatever opinion you want. I'm just saying the only person who has ever brought up my dad is other people on this show.
Okay, Grace, he just walked in the background. You gotta go. Like, what is this? It was so simple. It was so simple. Keep him away from the show.
Because Ben appeared on screen, Grace was apparently fired. Lauren De Laguna wrote Keemstar to offer Grace a place to stay if Keemstar would hire her back, which was accepted. Grace was also given an opportunity to stay with Zayzudid as well. Grace would string both of these people.
Who the hell is that person? Who the hell is that person?
Saying she would meet them, but never actually following through on any of it.
And then to have the audacity to then be like, I'm coming in.
Oh my God, she looks like Meg. She looks like Meg Griffin, a Family Guy. She does. Look at that face. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Look at that face. It is just so bad. That jawline is horrible. Oh my God. You don't. Oh. No potential, no, not even breeding potential, not even the bare basic of like a woman's purpose in life. Don't breed anything with that. It's going to come out all deformed and stuff. It will. It'll come out with some sort of deformity and all that.
Yeah, and then really have no plans of ever showing up.
This went on for days while Grace was able to appear on Lolcow Live, Queens, and Rewind to continue to garner more attention, viewers, and donations from Keemstar's audience. Grace would even pretend her father left by claiming he had to leave for court-ordered supervised visits with
which is not even true.
His children, only this was a lie. There wasn't a supervised scheduled until mid-January. Keemstar was also helping by insisting Grace's father had left her in Florida in his Discord and on stream.
I'm wondering. So, my daddy
because Keemstar failed at being my daddy, is going to actually come back and pick me up. And we're going to have a great
He never
road
left,
trip
yeah.
back up the East Coast and take all of our viewers
I wonder if you could see a shadow on the wall.
along with us, while driving Lolcow, Queens, Live, and Rewind into the ground.
For the 3 or 4 days Grace pretended to be leaving her father, she overquad.
Oh, this is the scene where, like, she said, like, don't get water on the laptop. And I swear to God, you can hear, like, a man's like, If you look at her reflection, the reflection in her glasses, you see the laptop. But what's to the side? I think I see something there. I'm not sure. I say laptop. Is that a mouse too?
Quadrupled her viewers, seeing highs of 1.5.
Oh, wait. What is that? Y'all see it? Let me make this bigger. Look, you see the glasses, right? And one lens, you see the computer and whatever that is. And then on the other lens, you see like this a skin-colored blur. Interesting. He was there. He's probably in the water.
5K live, made over $1,000, I believe, on our last stream, and has amassed a new base of financial supporters from Keemstar and Lolcow Live. Then
Oh, that she does. Yeah, she has amassed new a base. Yeah, she has more supporters now, and stuff like this is great for exposing the truth, revealing to people who you're really supporting there.
In her chat that he would get on stream, but that he couldn't so that Grace could get the bag. And when asked about Keemstar's show and Lolcow Live, he remarked, "It's all fake." So at best, Keemstar got worked by the incest gypsy duo to fleece his viewer base by pretending Grace was going to distance herself from her physically and sexually abusive father, and at worst, he knew and helped manipulate his audience by trying to insist a trolling narrative, try to censor me after I was asked on, and walk the white trash tightrope with Ben and Grace. They were even able to scam the Lolcow viewers by pretending to be broke and needing money for a hotel, only a couple weeks after they scammed 2K off their own audience when running a fundraiser for Fresh and Fit they never went to.
That's right, the Fresh and Fit thing.
Regardless, though, rack it up.
Because what is Grace going to do on Fresh and Fit? That would be hilarious if she went there, though.
That's an incest gypsy duo W.
Incest gypsy duo W. It really is. Wow.
Just fucking.
Wow. Amazing. Shout out to Shamu there. So this quick little video, 20 minutes about, huh? Very informative there. A lot of it for me was kind of a refresher, a reminder. Like the Maggie stuff, I was a little like, I need to be reminded on that. How sick that was. Very sick indeed. If I ever interact with them again, which I don't think is in the cards, because they are not going to trust me at all. They're not going to see this. There's no way. They don't. Like, who's going to watch this? Maybe only 100 people, right? Not even. But if I ever did, definitely put on a hazmat suit. And keep in mind, it's always... there's always another angle. Okay? There's always another angle. Anyway, with that said, we'll put this out there. To do a stream about fatherhood with Ben, how long do you think it would take for Ben to expose even more? Just to remind people that he's even more of a piece of crap. It wouldn't take long at all, you know? It'd be like, Because it'd be like, where are your kids right now? Huh? Why can't you see them, huh? Stuff like that. Anyway, y'all take it easy and have a good one.